Hello, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about not throwing people under the bus. And what I mean by that is just when you notice someone make a mistake or they're doing something wrong or they have like some character flaw or what have you, one of our initial reactions is we want to take that person and we want to throw them under the bus. We want to make sure that they know what they're doing is wrong. We want to reprimand them. Actually, it's a lot easier to have that kind of reaction towards someone who does something wrong. So I find that this is pretty much ingrained in our culture uh, in a lot of different ways, depending on where you are. Um, and we would much rather blame people um, than to help them. You know, we see it all the time. We see it in social media. We see people in the news. Like, basically, we want to put all the blame on someone. And this is recurrent throughout history. Like, we've always, as a people, we've always looking for some sort of scapegoat, someone to put all the blame on. Um, and I just think that we have to kind of go against this. And what I mean by that is, um, I think we have to pretty much learn how to bear with people. I mean, we have to acknowledge that they've made mistakes, and I think it's important that they also acknowledge that too. I mean, each person needs to acknowledge to themselves and to others like the mistakes that they've made. But then, how do we go about dealing with those mistakes? Like, do we make people feel like incredibly horrible about themselves to the point that we strip them of all esteem and dignity as a human being? Or do we like acknowledge, yeah, this person's got a flaw and they've made some faults, but let's work with that person so that perhaps they can improve themselves. I guarantee you it's a lot harder to go that way than to just be like, no, you're wrong, here's your punishment, done, right? And in a sense, sometimes punishments are needed for people to learn and to grow. Um, but there's also other ways that we can help um, people. But and I think it has to be done in love, like to help that person grow, to be like the best version of themselves, or to help them grow in holiness. Um, so in the Bible, there's that famous passage in First Corinthians chapter 13 about love, and it says that love bears all things. Um, and I would just encourage any of you out there, you know, that if you know someone personally in your life, whether it's a friend or a coworker, um, if you know them personally and you know some of the weaknesses they have, then I think that it's acting in accordance with loving your neighbor if you help that person um, to kind of cover up their flaws. And I mean, that doesn't mean not reporting like some serious things that they've done wrong. Um, but that just means like if you know someone's struggling in one area, why not help that person? Why not take that extra effort to help them instead of throwing them under the bus, which is a lot easier, right? Oh, you made a mistake. Okay, well, I'm going to throw you under the bus. You know, I just think it's a lot easier to do that. Um, and pretty much there's no connection there. Um, I think that people do need to be taught what the right thing is. Sometimes people don't even know what they're doing is wrong. Um, but if you approach them right off the bat that there's some horrible person who didn't do X, Y, and Z, then I don't know like how anyone can learn from that. They're just gonna be put in like some fearful mode, and then they're not gonna be open to learn anything. But I think we just need to approach people in a way that helps them grow and learn. Um, and yeah, there are tons of good examples in the Bible that speak about how we're supposed to bear and love one another. But I feel that our culture is kind of moving away from that kind of manner in which we deal with one another. But it's totally in line with loving your neighbor as yourself. Just take Noah and his sons, for example. Like Noah, who basically drank too much wine and he was like naked in his tent. One of his sons comes in and went and told the other sons without covering him that their father was naked. But then the other two clicked in their mind, oh, let's go cover our father. So this whole covering kind of aspect that we cover and we bear with each other's flaws. Um, and perhaps this, something that's missing from an organizational infrastructure or slash culture that perhaps even businesses can consider. Like um, I think an organization would be a lot more healthier if mistakes and faults are dealt with in a more positive manner, um, rather than just laying down the law and the hammer and pretty much um, using an individual as a scapegoat. Um, you know, and yeah, there's plenty of other examples from where that came from in scripture. Um, and even if we look at how, even how God deals with us, um, it's quite merciful. I mean, he does discipline us for sure. There's a discipline there, but it's always for our benefit. Um, so I think we just have to keep that in mind. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what was on my mind. What I wanted to share. Um, yeah, I just want to encourage anyone out there. If you know like the weaknesses, the flaws of someone, you know, um, then bear with them, and be that person to support them and help them grow, um, rather than just taking them and throwing them under the bus. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. I hope everyone out there is doing well, and yeah, stay tuned for some more inspiration. Take care.